So picture this. Sohag, Egypt. The day's wrapping up, everything's calming down. And Abdul Moneim, he's a local electrician, pretty successful. He's heading back to this second apartment he keeps.
Yeah, a separate place for his much younger wife, Fatma.
Right, and he gets there, probably tired, but that feeling vanishes instantly when he puts his key in the lock.
It catches, it turns a little bit, but then stops. Something's blocking it from the inside.
He tries again, jiggles it, pushes on the door. It's heavy, solid wood, but nope, it won't give. And this is where it gets really weird, chilling actually. The door is bolted from the inside.
Which makes no sense. I mean, if Fatma was home, she'd open it.
Exactly. And if she'd gone out, how could she possibly bolt it from the inside on her way out? It's just impossible.
So the panic hits him hard. He finds the building doorman, tells him they need to break the lock. Now.
The moment that door bursts open, the smell, it hits them first. Thick, metallic, just that awful stench of blood. It's everywhere in the air.
And the scene inside, just pure chaos. Furniture overturned, things smashed. And then they see her, Fatma. She's only 17 years old. And she's been murdered violently.
Police are called. The investigation starts right away. But what we're doing here, for you, is digging deeper. This wasn't just one horrific act. It was the final awful result of what you could call a criminal cocktail.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a whole chain reaction, really. A mix of deceit, desperation, jealousy, all fueled by some intense societal pressures. The murder itself was just kind of the explosive endpoint.
So let's trace it back. Where did this lethal mix even start? We need to look at the root cause, this incredible burden of needing a male heir.
Okay, so rewind. We need to talk about Azza. She's Abdul Moneim's first wife, a high school teacher there in Sohag. They married back in 1998. He was quite a bit older, but sources say she loved him. They had a daughter, Amira.
Sounds okay so far, but then comes the big issue.
The huge issue. For 15 years, Azza couldn't conceive again. Specifically, she couldn't give him a son.
And in that place at that time, a son wasn't just, nice to have. It was everything. Legacy, status. Abdel Moneim pressured her constantly for, 15 years?
Yeah, over a decade. And that constant pressure, that feeling of failure in his eyes, it must have worn her down. It created this deep vulnerability.
A vulnerability he then exploited. So 2012, he goes to Alexandria for work, and there he meets Fatma.
And here's where it gets really disturbing. Fatma is just 15, a child, almost 30 years younger than him. But Abdel Moneim sees an opportunity. He's wealthy, her family is poor.
He basically bought her. He leverages his money against their poverty and, frankly, their ignorance, and arranges to marry this child.
It wasn't about love, not even close. It was a calculated move, a transaction purely to get a son.
So when he comes back to Sohag and tells Azza, his educated first wife, hey, I've married a teenager, how does she react?
Initially, exactly how you'd expect. Total outrage. She demanded a divorce right then and there.
But he knew how to play her.
Oh, absolutely. He was a master manipulator. He zeroed in on her biggest fear. Losing everything, her marriage, her standing, because she couldn't provide an heir.
So he makes this unbelievably twisted deal.
Yeah, he spins this story. Says he still loves Azza, only her. He promises he's marrying Fatma only to have a son. The moment that baby boy is born, he swears he'll take the child, register him legally as Azza's son, and divorce Fatma immediately. Send her packing.
It's just monstrous. And Azza, she agrees.
She agrees. And this tells you so much about the crushing weight of that cultural pressure. Here's an educated woman, a teacher, who feels she has no choice but to go along with this exploitation and fraud, rather than face the shame of being divorced and childless, specifically sonless.
It wasn't just about losing him. It was about losing her place in society.
Precisely. So the marriage happens, but it has to be an LA.
Which is like a common law marriage, right? Because she's legally still a minor, so it's not officially registered with the state. It bypasses protections.
Exactly. And he sets Fatma up in that separate apartment nearby. Close, but hidden.
And the deception just deepens. Azza starts visiting Fatma, especially during the pregnancy. Acting concerned, bringing things.
But it's all a facade. She's not worried about Fatma's well-being. She's monitoring the vessel, making sure the child she plans to take is healthy. It's chillingly calculated.
Okay, so fast forward to 2013. The baby is born. It's a boy.
And Abdel Moneim doesn't waste any time. He moves straight to the next step, the forgery.
How does he manage that? Fatma is the mother.
He lies to her. Remember, she's still a minor, probably barely understands the legal system. He tells her, look, because you're underage, we can't legally register the baby in your name. It'll cause problems.
Yeah.
He says the only way is to register the baby under Azza's name just to avoid, legal trouble.
Wow. And he actually falsifies documents?
He does. He forges Fatma's ID details, making them match Azza's information, and he succeeds. The newborn boy is officially legally registered as the son of Azza and Abdel Moneim. Fatma's identity as the mother is erased from the record. It's identity theft, lineage theft.
Unbelievable. So now Azza has her son. She immediately tells Abdel Moneim, okay, time to keep your promise. Divorce Fatma.
Right. The deal is clear. But he refuses.
What?
He'd gotten what he wanted, the son. But now he's apparently become attached to Fatma, the young wife. He likes having her around. So he breaks his promise to Azza, flat out refuses to divorce Fatma.
This must have been the breaking point for Azza.
Absolutely. Think about it from her perspective. She's the educated, respected first wife. And this young girl, this child she probably looks down on, has not only given Abdel Moneim the son Azza couldn't, but is now also keeping his attention, his affection maybe.
The jealousy must have been eating her alive, mixed with this feeling of being utterly worthless, maybe.
Completely. And it combines with this. This pathological need to keep the child, who is now legally hers. The focus shifts. The problem isn't just the situation anymore. It's Fatma herself. Fatma is the obstacle to her having the child and the husband.
So Azza moves from being a reluctant participant in fraud to, well, planning something much, much worse.
She becomes meticulous.
Yeah.
This isn't a sudden rage thing. She plans Fatma's removal.
Yeah.
Every single detail.
Like what kind of planning are we talking about?
First, the timing. She chooses 7:00 a.m. on a workday. Why? Abdel Moneim will be at his job. Her own daughter, Amira, will be at school. No witnesses at her home when she leaves or returns. Perfect.
Okay, that's calculated. What else?
The weapon. She's smart enough to know she can't use a knife from her own kitchen. That could be traced. So she goes to the market, buys a brand new knife, very sharp, specifically for this purpose.
Kind of shopping for a murder weapon.
Yeah.
And the alibi. She's a teacher. She should be at school at 7 a.m.
But she exploits a common practice. You know how sometimes colleagues cover for each other, maybe sign the attendance sheet if someone's running late?
Yeah, sure.
She arranges that with her colleagues, gets someone to sign her in. So on paper, it looks like she's at school teaching her class while she's actually on her way to Fatma's apartment. A seemingly solid alibi.
Okay, so the day arrives, 7 a.m. Azza walks to the separate apartment. This is the first time she's ever gone there alone, right?
Yes, and this is where Fatma makes a fatal mistake. Abdel Moneim had warned her very clearly. Never open the door unless it's him, his sister, or Azza.
Oh, no.
So Fatma looks to the people, sees Azza, the woman who visited her, brought her things, the supposed co-mother figure, and she trusts her. She unlocks and opens the door.
What happens then? Does Azza attack immediately?
No, not right away.
Okay.
First, the confrontation. Azza tells Fatma, straight up, you need to leave. Go back to Alexandria. Forget Abdel Moneim. Forget the baby. Just disappear.
And Fatma, she's just 17, holding on to her baby.
She refuses. She says no, she can't leave her child.
And that refusal, that's the trigger.
That's it. Azza shows this terrifying calm. She actually pretends to agree, turns like she's going to leave. But the moment Fatma turns her back, Azza pulls out the knife she bought, and she attacks.
The reports, they said it was brutal.
Extremely. Fatma didn't die instantly. She fought back, hard. Remember, she's young, but she fought for her life. Azza, though, fueled by this rage and jealousy, overpowers her.
Many times.
Over 20 stab wounds. All over her body. And then, Azza does something truly horrific. The final act. She cuts Fatma's head completely off.
Just unimaginable.
Pure desecration. And after all that violence, she just calmly leaves the apartment, locks the door from the outside, leaving that internal bolt somehow still engaged, which baffled Abdel Moneim later. Then she goes home, acts like nothing happened, resumes her day.
Until Abdel Moneim gets home that evening, finds the door bolted from the inside, breaks it down, and discovers the scene. The police arrive. Who do they suspect first?
Azza, immediately. The motive is staring them in the face. The fight over the child, the rivalry with the younger wife, it's classic.
And they start digging.
Right away. They uncover the whole messy story pretty quickly. The Yaya marriage, the pressure for a son, the forgery of the birth certificate, the stolen identity, and Azza's alibi. It falls apart almost instantly.
Her colleagues at the school must have talked.
They did. Under police questioning, they admitted they'd signed the attendance sheet for her. Azza wasn't at school that morning at all.
So, no alibi. Clear motive. What does Azza say?
She denies everything. Completely. maintains this incredible, chilling composure. She insists she knows nothing about the murder, nothing about the fraud, seems almost confident they can't pin it on her without a witness.
But investigators know denials aren't everything. They look for physical clues, right?
Always. And they noticed something subtle. Azza kept trying to hide her hands while they questioned her. Casually, but consistently.
Interesting. So they push her on it.
They make her show her hands. And there they are. Fresh cuts, deep scratches, the unmistakable marks of a violent physical struggle. Someone fought back against her.
And the forensics from the scene must have corroborated that.
Massively. The medical examiner's report was crucial. It confirmed Fatma hadn't died immediately. She'd resisted fiercely. And get this,
Yeah.
Fatma's fingertips on her right hand were deeply cut, some almost severed. Meaning she literally grabbed the blade of the knife during the attack, trying desperately to push it away or stop it. Direct proof of that struggle.
But they still needed something to place Azza definitively in that room.
They did, and they found it. Amidst all the blood at the scene, which mostly belonged to Fatma, forensics found one tiny spot of blood that was a different type.
Not Fatma's blood.
Exactly. So they get a warrant, take a blood sample from Azza. It's a match, an absolute undeniable match. The blood spot found at the scene belonged to Azza. Combined with the scratches on her hands, the collapsed alibi, the motive, it was overwhelming.
Case closed.
Pretty much. Azza was convicted of murder, sentenced to life in prison.
So going back to that idea of the criminal cocktail, Azza pulled the trigger, or rather wielded the knife, but she wasn't the only guilty party in this whole chain of events.
Not even close. The investigation laid bare multiple layers of culpability. It really was a shared destruction.
Okay, so let's break down that cocktail. Who are the contributors?
Well, first, you have to look at Fatma's own family. They essentially sold their underage daughter to a much older, wealthy man. They prioritized money over her safety, her childhood, as perpetrator group 1.
Right, exploiting their own child's vulnerability. Group 2.
Abdel Moneim himself, guilty on so many counts. Marrying a minor that's illegal exploitation. Then the systematic deceit, the forgery to literally steal a child's legal identity from its birth mother. Betraying both Azza's trust and Fatma's. His actions set the whole tragedy in motion.
He created the conflict, fueled the jealousy.
Okay.
And group 3.
That's Azza, the murderer, yes. But her crime stems from this toxic mix of jealousy, societal pressure, and what seems like a pathological attachment. She's educated, she had options, maybe divorce, maybe fighting for custody legally, but she chose violence. She let the pressure turn her into a killer, destroying Fatma's life, her own life, and severely impacting her daughter Amira's life too.
And standing in the middle of all this, the real victim.
Without a doubt, Fatma. 15 when she was married off, 17 when she was murdered. A child victimized by her family's poverty and ignorance, her husband's greed and deceit, and her co-wife's lethal jealousy. Failed by absolutely everyone who should have protected her.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, how powerful these cultural demands like needing a male heir can be. Powerful enough to twist someone educated, someone who should know better, towards such monstrosity.
It's a chilling question. How often does that kind of intense societal pressure create the perfect storm for crime? Turning things like family, love, legacy into justifications for the absolute worst actions. Something to really sit with after hearing this story.